Krishna. So we're very honored and very ecstatic to be here in this new center, what do you call it, Wyndham, in the western suburbs of, one north of here is Brajbasi. And way far away in South Africa, there's Durban. And we're very happy to see our very old friend Bhaktidas. We were thinking, we've been in Australia now for almost a month, maybe a month, I don't know. We didn't get to see Bhaktidas. So now we're very, very happy. Just the other day in Harinam, I was thinking, I haven't seen my dear god sister Surabhi, and she showed up on Harinam. Led a very ecstatic Harinam, a very rocking Harinam. So somehow both of us now have silver hair. Because unfortunately tomorrow we leave for Fiji tomorrow morning, so. Hare Krishna. So anyway, we only see, how many people have been to Vrindavan? Oh, almost everybody, my goodness. And everything we see in Vrindavan, we're only seeing by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Because Mahaprabhu came and he personally discovered Radhakund and Shyamakund and revealed it before the eyes of the world. And he sent the 6 Goswamis to find all of the lost places of Krishna's pastimes. So everything we see is due to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to honor him, to start our program, we have very wonderful bhajan about Lord Chaitanya. And because we're Gaudiya Sampradaya, 90% of our bhajans all in Bengali. Especially if it's about Lord Chaitanya, it must be in Bengali. But this bhajan is about Lord Chaitanya, but not in Bengali, not even really in Hindi. It's in Brajbasi, the language of Braj. And if you have your devices, and in here, I don't know if you can pick up signal in here, then you can look up Sundara Lala. Some people translate Sundara Bala, but anyway, there may be some little differences from the way I learned it from my Hindi bhajan book. But Sundara Lala, Sachidu Lala. Sundara Lala, Sachidu Lala, Najata Sri Hari Kirtana Mein. Bolo Sundara Lala, Sachidu Lala, Najata Sri Hari Kirtana Mein. Balle Chandana Tilaga Manohara Alaka Shobhe Kapolana Me Chandana Tilaga Manohara Alaka Shobhe Kapolana Bolo Sundara Lala Sachidu Lala Nakata Sri Hari Kirtana Mein. Bolo Sundara Lala, Sachidu Lala, Najata Sri Hari Kirtana Mein. Shire Juda, Dadasani Rale, Vanapula Mala, Pia Pardole, Shire Shuddha Darshani Radhe Vanapula Mala Iya Pardole Pairna Pita Patamara Shobe Nupura Runu Charanana Me Pairna Pita Patamara Shobe Nupura Runu Charanana Bolo Sundara Lala Sati Lala Nata Sati Hari Kirtana Me Sundara Lala Sati Lala Nata Sati Hari Kirtana Bolo Sundara Lala Sati Lala Nata Sati Hari Kirtana Me Radha Krishna Ekatanu Hai Niduvana Maje Bansi Bajave Ekatanu Hai Niduvana Maje Bansi Bajave Visarupagi Prabhuji Sahi Avata Prakatai Nadiya Mein Viswarupagi Prabhuji Sahi Avata Prakatai Nadiya Mein Bolo Sundara Lala Sati Lala Nata Sati Hari Kirtana Mein Bolo Sundara Lala Sati Lala Nata Sati Hari Kirtana Me Koi Gavat Hai Radha Krishna Naam Koi Gavat Hai Hari Gunagan Mridanga Tala Madhura Rasala Bajata Hai Koi Rangana Mein Bajata Hai Koi Rangana Bolo Sundara Lala Sati Lala Nata Sati Hari Kirtan Hai Sundara Bolo Sundara Lala Sati Lala Nata Sati Hari Kirtan Hai Bolo 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 Sri Sachidananda Gaur Hari Bol. So Sundara Lala, Sachidu Lala, Nachata Sri Hari Kirtanri. So everybody knows the meaning of Sundar, just like our deities in Vrindavan are called Shama Sundar. But 500 years ago, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, he was not Sham Sundar, he was Gaur Sundar. He was very golden complexion, Gaur Sundar. And we know that 5,000 years ago, when Brajendanandan Shyam Sundar appeared, his mother's name was Yashoda. So we call him Yashoda Nandan or Yashoda Dulala. So 500 years ago, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, his mother's name was Sachi Mata. So we call him Sachi Nandan or Sachi Dulala. Yeah. So Sundara Lala, Sachi Dulala, Nachata. Now you all know Lord Shiva, he's known as Nataraj, the Lord of Dance. But Nat, this is a very harsh Sanskrit word. Our Brajbasi language is very soft, sweet language. So we changed that ta into nachata. Very sweet, soft, nachata. He's dancing. And where is he dancing? In the Hilton Hotel? In the disco dance club? Nachata Sri Hari Kirtan. He's always dancing in Sri Hari Kirtan. Because in this dark age of Kali, this is the recommended process, chanting very loudly and very enthusiastically, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we were, a week ago we were in, or more than that I guess now, we were in New Govardhan. Obviously one of the most beautiful pieces of property that we have in ISKCON. And we had the great fortune to meet my old friend Mukunda Maharaj. Because for a while I was president of a temple in the northwest corner of America called Portland. And at that time, Portland's right at the top of Oregon. Then you cross the Columbia River and then the state of Washington starts. So a little ways up was a town called Kelso, and Mukunda was staying there along with Janaki. And he used to come down and tell me stories with the old days and at 26 Second Avenue. So he told me one time, he was a musician. He told me that actually Prabhupada came into my life right at the right moment. Because our group was starting to become popular. And before, we used to have a lot of fun jamming together and playing whatever we wanted. Now we have to sign contracts, and we have to play what the people want us to hear. Whoever made the contract, they want us to play certain things. You know, I was just starting to feel the pinch of material success. At that moment, Prabhupada came into my life. And he was considered to be like a leader amongst all his friends. So we know that Prabhupada had to leave that loft in the Bowery he was staying, because one of the boys got crazy and threatened him. So somehow Prabhupada didn't know whether to go left or right. Anyway, he didn't know anything. Just somehow he knew there was one devotee named Cleaver, black-bodied devotee, who later became Karlapati. So Prabhupada went to his apartment. But it was a very uncomfortable situation. Cleaver was living there with his white girlfriend, and she didn't like Prabhupada at all. She was a staunch feminist, so she didn't like Prabhupada at all. And so they had Prabhupada sleeping on the couch, and very uncomfortable situation for Prabhupada. What he endured to save fallen souls like us, we'll never be able to repay. We can never do that. Now we cross 70, and Prabhupada started at 70, he was flying around. We just want to, crash out for the next 6 or 7 hours. But I watched Prabhupada come off the flight and give the lecture, come to the temple and give a lecture. He was definitely not for this world. I don't know how he did it. I can't imagine. So Saturday they brought Prabhupada to Mukunda's apartment, because he was considered to be a leader amongst all his friends. So, and it was about 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock was an ungodly hour for us in those days. Especially since he was in a band and he was playing music, and so they were practicing all night, and there was guitar chords going everywhere and amplifiers and all this stuff all over the apartment. And all of a sudden, you know, they'd been up probably to midnight, 7 o'clock in the morning, somebody was knocking on the door. He was barely awake. He opened the door and there was Cleaver, Karlapati, and Prabhupada. And he was just beginning to understand that this is my spiritual master. And he, you know, invited Prabhupada in, and Prabhupada saw that he was bewildered. He said, it is proper when the spiritual master comes that you offer some fruit. So immediately when he woke up, you know, Janaki, you have to go cut up some fruit. And so she cut up some fruit. He sat Prabhupada down on the sofa. The first thing that happened was the cat jumped right into Prabhupada's lap. And Prabhupada just went whack. Because other times we heard Prabhupada with his toe, he was, you know, rubbing the cat. But this time the cat just jumped in his lap and he went whack. And somehow modern life means TV. So he turned on the television, because that's what you do. Even friends come, you're going to talk, but somehow the television has to go on in the background. So he turned on the TV. It was Saturday morning, you know, what could be on? Something like Mighty Mouse or something. Tom and Jerry. So Prabhupada just looked, he said, this is nonsense. And Mukunda jumped off the couch all in one motion. He jumped off the couch, switched off the TV, you know, and Prabhupada said, yes, Swamiji, this is nonsense. So then Karlapati began to explain that, you know, what had happened, that Prabhupada was threatened there in the Bowery, and he had to look for we have to find another place for him. Actually, he didn't say we, he said you. He kept saying you, because Mukunda was like a leader amongst all of them. It's you have to find something, you have to do so. He kept saying you. And Prabhupada looked at him like you've seen those nice pictures of Prabhupada cocking his head back. It looks like, the profile looks like a swan floating across a lake. And Prabhupada just looked at him, and Mukunda Maharaj told me, I can shut my eyes and I can see those eyes of Prabhupada just looking straight through me. And I had no idea what we were going to do. I just said, yeah, we'll do something, don't worry, we'll do something. So somehow they found this empty storefront, 26 2nd Avenue. And so they made an appointment with the owner, and they brought Srila Prabhupada. The owner was just, you know, a regular old American guy, you know, blue denim jeans, blue denim jacket, you know, type of guy who drank beer and watched, you know, football all afternoon, you know, and he's just ordinary guy. But as soon as he saw Prabhupada, he became very respectful. He helped Prabhupada sit in the chair. He sat down, you know, Your Excellency, he referred to him as Your Excellency. And somehow he became very humble, and the devotees were preaching to him, and he was just listening, very politely listening. He was so politely listening, the devotees got really excited, and they said, and you know, for just $10 a month, you can become a life member of our society. You missed out, And he said, all right, how about if we knock $10 off the rent, you know? And then Prabhupada signed some of those old red Bhagavatams. We've only seen pictures of them. Old red original Bhagavatam sets that he brought with him from India. He signed them and gave them to the owner. And the owner said, I'm not worthy to accept this. He said, no, Prabhupada, you take. So he gave them to him. So then they got 26 2nd Avenue. It was just an empty storefront. So they got some, you know, plastic milk crates, turned them upside down, put an old rug on top, and a little cushion, and that was Prabhupada's Vyasa-san. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Prabhupada would give class on Bhagavad Gita. So Mukunda and some of his friends, we were coming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the kirtan and Bhagavad Gita class. And then the Mat Street crew started coming. Kirtananda and Hayagriva and Umapati, and all of them had been to India. And they began talking amongst themselves after class one night. There's just a bare storefront. There's no decoration. There's no nothing. They thought, we got all these bedspreads and all these posters that we got in India, and we got bells and so many things. So the next day they started, putting these nice, Rajasthani bedspreads, block printed bedspreads on the walls and hanging bells, like this, and all these posters around. And then some other boys came, and we had the first ISKCON politics. The other boys came in, they looked around and said, this is Maya, this is extra. Swamiji says we just take what is necessary and not more than our required quota. This is more than our quota. He says, no, we're decorating this temple for Krishna. No, this is Maya. So they're having this big argument back and forth like this. And of course, Prabhupada's apartment was behind, upstairs. He had an uncanny way of knowing everything that was going on. So somehow or other, he appeared on the scene, and everyone froze. And Prabhupada looked around with his eyes very big. And he gave the verdict. This is Krishna consciousness. This is Krishna consciousness. Decorating the temple for Krishna. So then he went around and looked at all the Indian posters that they bought, some Brajbasi prints, some other things, and some demigods, and Prabhupada said, no, you take this one down. And there was one, they were wondering, what's Swamiji going to say, They thought it was a cat. They couldn't figure out who it was, or what it was. And Prabhupada came and his eyes got very big. He says, oh, this is Hanuman. He's a great monkey devotee of Lord Ram. All those, wow, monkey devotee, wow. And somehow or other, though it's very rare, I don't know how they did it, somehow they had a picture of Sadbhuj, six-armed Lord Chaitanya. And Prabhupada in his lectures, he'd been talking about Lord Chaitanya. He'd read sometimes a little bit from Chaitanya Charitamrita and translate it for the devotees. So they'd heard about Lord Chaitanya, and Prabhupada said, this is Lord Chaitanya. They looked, there's a six-armed figure with two green arms with a bow and arrow, and two blue arms holding flute, and two yellow arms holding kamandalu and danda, sannyas danda. They would say, wow, this is Lord Chaitanya. So that's how things started in the old days. We can't understand the austerities that Prabhupada went to save us. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Another time, this is sweet, another time, because Prabhupada, he didn't want his disciples, he didn't like the idea of them living together without getting married. It's even more common now in America, anyway, probably all over the world. So Prabhupada wanted all the boyfriends and girlfriends to get married. So he and Janaki were going to get married. So they thought this is a good chance to invite Janaki's sister to come out from the West Coast. She lived in San Francisco, to come out to New York for the wedding. And this would be their chance to introduce her to Krishna consciousness. And Janaki's sister happened to be, I don't know what her name was before, I can't remember just now, but she became Mother Jamuna, who we listen to every morning. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So they invited Jamuna to come. And she flew out from the West Coast, from San Francisco to New York, and they brought her back to Srila Prabhupada's apartment. And Prabhupada had prepared a nice feast for her, honoring her coming. And at this point in her life, she was into a funny type of diet called macrobiotics. I don't even know if it's still around or not. Oh, Bhaktivedanta shaking his head. Anyway, the only thing you can eat practically is brown rice and Chico-san soy sauce. That's it, Especially sugar or milk products, all these things are, the big aparads, So Prabhupada cooked this nice feast, and Jamuna, she was just nibbling at everything. So we know that if you go to an Indian's house, they just keep feeding you and feeding you. They're not happy unless you eat so much. I can remember the first time, we had never been to an Indian's house, and we went, we went to somewhere in Denver. There was a nice Indian family invited us for prasadam, and they made something. We never tasted prasadam like this, and they kept coming and offering more. Especially there was this nice halava, because in America we make halava with butter instead of ghee. And butter halava's got a different taste altogether. So he kept, feeding us this halava. And we were all being very, we were we were about to explode, we were up to the neck. And he said, no, just plop. No, plop. So then he told us, he says, our Indian culture, if someone comes to our house, we must offer them something to eat. And when they're finished, we will ask, do you want more? They will say, no, but they're not satisfied. They're only being polite. So again you give. And then when they're finished, you offer some more, and they will say, no, that's all right. But they're not satisfied. They're just being polite. So again you give. But when they finally roar like a lion, nah, then they're satisfied. But we'd never been in an Indian's house before, so we were being very polite, No, that's all right, plop. Finally they got to our temple president. He understood. No! Then we all caught on. No! So Prabhupada's Indian. Jamuna just nibbling at this feast, and, spices and ghee and all these, milk products and things, So Prabhupada wasn't happy. So later they were sitting with Prabhupada, and he was talking, and he was unhappy that she didn't eat nicely. So he finally says, I know what you will like. All my disciples are liking it too much. And he reached for this tin can, big tin can, with sugar crystals all coming down the sides of it. And he brought it down on his desk, and he pulled out gulab jamun. Now this is ghee and sweet and butter and milk, everything all rolled into one. This was the mad elephant apparat for macrobiotics. So Jamuna, she put it in her hand and tried to hide it. But gulab jamun is not something you can hide. So finally she put it in her mouth, and she said, I knew right there in front of everyone, I'm just going to throw up, I know I was going to throw up right there in front of everyone. And somehow she swallowed it, and you'll never find this in the Lilamrit, but personally she told me this story. Right then and there she made a vow. I will never, ever, ever have anything to do with this fellow again in my life. But Prabhupada was so charming, he kept talking, they were talking, and he completely charmed her. And he said, you're coming from the bride's side. So it's the bride's side's duty to make the feast. If you will come tomorrow, 7 o'clock, I will teach you how to do Indian cooking. And somehow she made this vow, she's never going to have anything to do with this guy in her life. And somehow Prabhupada completely charmed her. And such she thought, because she was a cook. So she got interested in Indian cooking. So somehow she managed to come, because 7 o'clock morning means you had to wake up by 6 o'clock. That was ungodly hour. So somehow she came there. You won't find this in a little minute, but she told me. She had her jeans, she had a t-shirt, no bra, and her hair was all over the place like this. And Prabhupada had given her a list of things to get. And there was one thing on the list, turmeric, turmeric, something like that. She couldn't read it. So, oh, the old guy will never notice, you know. So she brought the bag in, you know, 6 o'clock, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning she came, you know, tried to keep her eyes open. And Prabhupada took the bag, he pulled everything out. He said, you did not get any turmeric. You did not get any turmeric. Prabhupada immediately understood, saw everything, you know. He said, it doesn't matter. The boys are finding it anyway nearby. I have some. Then he looked at her and he said, our Indian ladies are very worried that some hair may fall in the preparation. So they like to keep their hair tied. Do you think you could tie up your hair? Because she had it all over, you know, like Jimi Hendrix or something. So then she tied up her hair, and then Prabhupada said, wash your hands. And then every time he was teaching her something, she put her hand in her mouth. He said, wash your hand. You know, wash your hand. Then Prabhupada told her how to make samosas, and she spent the whole rest of the day making samosas. So later she and Guru Das, they were going to go to Nepal. And because she knew calligraphy, she wrote the original incorporation papers for ISKCON. She did the, you know, the fancy writing, the calligraphy. So there was some type of calligraphy that she wanted to learn in Nepal. So Prabhupada asked her one day, he said, why do you want to go to Nepal? So Jamuna thought for a moment. He said, you know, we're looking for the highest thing. And Prabhupada's eyes got very big. He said, oh, you were looking for the highest thing? You just stay here with me. One day I will show you what is the highest thing. So Prabhupada showed Jamuna, he showed all of us the highest thing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So how long do we have? As long as I like. So we should sing a little song to take us to Braj. Okay, this is a... Oh my goodness, whoops. This is a very famous Brajbasi song, the old one, everyone probably knows. We won't sing all the verses because it's quite long and we don't want to take too much time. But this will put us in Braj mode to go to Braj. Because tonight we're going to take you to Vrindavan without ticket, without reservation, no security check, and no PCR test. Okay, you can play. Oh, these are nice straps, I like these. So if you've got your devices, you can look up Jai Madhava Madana Murari. Jai Madhava Madana Murari. It's old Brajbasi song. And we were in Nepal one time, and one devotee, I can't remember his name, he sang it in a very beautiful classic melody. Because we all know the local melody, but this is a very beautiful melody. You'll really like it. Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari, Jai Madhava Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam, 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 Radhe Shyam Shyam, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari. Sundara Kundala Naina Vishala, Sundara Kundala Naina Vishala, Galle Sohebai Chandimala, Galle Sohebai Chandimala, Yachaviki Balihari, Yachaviki Balihari, Yachaviki Balihari, Yachaviki Balihari, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari. Kabu luta luta dari kayo, Kabu luta luta dari kayo, Kabu marvana rasarachayo, Kabu marvana rasarachayo, Nachata Vipina Bihari, Nachata Vipina Bihari, Nachata Vipina Bihari, Nachata Vipina Bihari, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari, Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam, Radhe Shyam Shama Shyam, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Keshava Kalimala Hari. Vallabhala Sangha Denu Charaye, Vallabhala Sangha Denu Charaye, Vana Vana Brahmata Fide Yaruraye, Vana Vana Brahmata Fir Yaruraye, Kande Kamara Kari, Kande Kamara Kari, Kande Kamara Kari, Kande Kamara Kari, Jai Madhava Madhana Murari, Jai Kesava Kalimala Hari. Chura chura nava nita dukayo. Chura chura nava nita dukayo. Brajava nitambe namadalayo. Brajava nitambe namadalayo. Makana chora murari, makana chora murari, makana chora murari, makana chora murari. Oh, makana chora murari, makana chora murari, makana chora murari. Akana chora, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Kesava Kalimala Hari, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Kesava Kalimala. Oh, Radhe Shyam Jama Jam, Radhe Shyam Jama Jam, Radhe Shyam. Oh, Radhe Shyam Jama Jam, Radhe Shyam Jama Jam, Radhe Shyam. Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Kesava Kalimala Hari. Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Kesava Kalimala Hari, Jai Madhava Madana Murari. Jai Kesava Kalimala. Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. So this little Brajbasi song just takes us straight to Braj. He says, Jai Madhava Madana Murari, Jai Kesava Kalimala Hari. Mal means contamination, dirt. Just like we know, Mahaprabhu said that Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the Amala Puran, spotless Puran. So here we have mal. Which mal? Kalimal. All our hearts are covered with this contamination of Kali-Yuga. But by chanting Jai Madhava Madana Murari Radhe Shyam Shama Sham Kali Mala Hari, all that contamination of Kali is taken out from our hearts. Same message as Srimad Mahaprabhu, but in beautiful Brajbasi language. So yesterday we were in Gokul, so I was thinking of another pastime at Gokul. Because a little ways down from the Gokul Mandir, you go along, if you come from Gokul, usually we come down, because I like to go to a very special place, and then we come back to Brahmandagat, and then we go to Gokul. So we used to take a little road that comes straight down to Brahmandagat. So you can understand, you can probably get the hint of what this pastime is about, because Brahmanda means universe. So one time, Mother Yasoda came, and she scolded Krishna, Lala, why are you eating clay? And Krishna said, Maya, mene niti nakayo. Now we can take it, for past tense we said mene. So me nahi mitikayo. Or we could take it mehi nahi. Mehi nahi mitikayo. He's very clever, this fellow. Huh? And Mother Yasoda said, but all your friends, Balaram and all your friends are complaining that you were eating dirt? Huh? Huh? And Krishna said, well, that's because Balaram's side lost all our sports today. We divided in two groups and we had some sports challenging each other, but his side lost. So he's telling you stories to make me get in trouble. So Lala said, if that's true, if Balda was lying, then show me your mouth. Let me see inside your mouth, if there's no dirt inside your mouth. So Krishna opened his mouth, and Mother Yasoda looked inside, and suddenly she saw the whole Brahmand. All the stars, the planets, moon, Venus, Jupiter, Mangal, all the planets were there, all the demigods were there, all the objects of the senses, the controller of the senses, all the different sense objects, everything was there, and sky and everything was there. So she became completely astonished. In fact, she's looking inside Krishna's mouth, but she saw herself inside Krishna's mouth. Not only that, she's looking into Krishna's mouth, but she saw Krishna there inside her mouth, sitting on her lap, drinking milk from her breast. She's looking inside Krishna, but she's seeing herself there. She's seeing Krishna drinking milk from her breast. She became totally bewildered. And she couldn't understand what was going on. And she began to pray that by the external energy, somehow I'm thinking that I'm the wife of Nanda Baba, and Nanda Baba is the king of all the cowherd men, and I'm the queen, by all these things. She began to think all these philosophical thoughts. And Lala, because in Braj, nobody loves Krishna because he's God. They just love him because he's so wonderful. The Brajbasis, they don't know. Anytime something happens, just like we were telling the Putana pastime, then she said, oh, by the grace of the Almighty Lord, my son was saved. She doesn't realize that her son is the Almighty Lord himself. So Krishna doesn't like her to think all these heavy, heavy philosophical things. So immediately expanded his Yogamaya potency. And actually there's a place just down the ways. Everybody goes to Brahmandagat. But I'll tell you a secret. If you get to Brahmandagat, there's a little road to the left. And you go down 1 kilometer of that road, then you come to a very beautiful place called Chinta Haran Ghat. Chinta Haran Ghat. So we all know Chinta, right? Worry. Just like we have so many worries, that there's going to be economic recession, again the banks will fail, we'll lose our jobs, maybe this Russian and Ukraine war will escalate to a nuclear war. We're full of so many worries. But we come to this very peaceful place on the bank of the Jamuna. Jamuna's flowing by. So many beautiful trees are there, peepal trees and kadamba trees, and banyan trees, and so many parrots are there. Just a few monkeys, not just enough to make it exciting. And it's a sweet, peaceful place. So all our worries are taken away. Hari, Chinta, Haran. This place, all our worries are taken away. So Mother Yasoda wandered down to this place, and by Krishna's yoga by potency, she forgot all of her worries. It's a very beautiful place. No one will come and start bothering you for money. Everyone just sitting there peacefully on the bank of the Jamuna. It used to be beautiful soft sand. We used to sit on the soft sand of Jamuna and tell all these pastimes. But somehow all the merchants of Mathura have discovered this place, so they put all nice interlocking tiles so we don't have to sit on the nice sandy bank of Jamuna anymore. And there was a tiny little temple there for Chintaharan Mahadev. Chintaharan Mahadev. They made a great big monster temple there, and but it used to be still a very sweet place. There's a big temple there of Chintaharan Mahadev. And Chintaharan Mahadev, he's not just one ling. He's not, sometimes we go to Chakaleswar on Manasi Ganga and we see 5 lings. Sometimes we've been to a place where there's 11 lings. But in Chintaharan Mahadev Mandir, you will see 1,111 lings. 1,111. And everybody says, what? And you come inside and there's this beautiful, sort of, he's not a black ling, he's sort of golden ling. And you look around closely, you see all around the sides are carved little lings. And if you count, there's 1,111 lings. So this is Chintaharan Mahadev. So Mahayasoda went to this very peaceful place. Just there you can hear the peacocks calling. Sometimes we hear the kokilas. Since I left Braj, I can't do it. Where did we actually manage? Somehow in Brisbane we managed. Kokilas are singing, the parrots are chattering. Very sweet place. Jamuna is flowing sweetly by. Let's go back to Brahmandagat, because many people have seen that picture where Prabhupada is taking the devotees on Prikrama. And at Brahmandagat, there's these big steps that go way down to Jamuna. And Prabhupada went down and he touched the water. This was late in November. He just finished a Pandal program in Delhi. Maybe it was 1972 or so, I can't remember. I don't know. So it was late November when it starts to get cold. So Prabhupada went down and he touched the water. And he put some water on his head. He said, it is too cold for old man like me. But you all go in. So Prabhupada divided the devotees, all the ladies on one side and all the gents on one side. They all went in the water. And they were having so much fun. So you've seen that film, Your Ever Will Wisher. You'll notice, next time you see it, you'll remember those steps. And Prabhupada is sitting there with his godbrother, Kapoor, what's his name? OBL Kapoor. And Prabhupada saw the devotees were having so much fun, splashing and enjoying in the Jamuna. And you'll see Prabhupada like saying to OBL Kapoor, why not? Prabhupada shaking his head, Indian style, why not? And all of a sudden you see Prabhupada taking off his kurta and taking off his lungi, and he completely into a gamsha in one motion, one pure motion, he never exposed, And then you'll see the late Shirodakshay Vishnu helping him down into the water, and then perfect Indian style, Prabhupada grabs his nose and bloom, bloom, bloom. And then he's, rubbing the water on his body. So next time you go to that place, you remember this is where that pastime has happened. And you recognize there's a big piece of land that juts out, and you'll recognize the steps, and you'll see the Jamuna, and there's a big kadamba tree there. And now, during lockdown, the government has spent crores of rupees fixing up all the places in Braj. And they spent so much money. Now there's these beautiful, that one ghat they left alone, that's the original ghat that Prabhupada walked on. But on the other side, they made so many beautiful ghats and beautiful little piers going out into the water, and they spent so many crores of rupees fixing up this place. Because the next time you see that movie, you'll see that, you'll remember this place. Brahmandagat. So we're talking about Jamuna. Anybody knows the story of Jamuna? You don't know the story of Jamuna? One time, there was one demigod named Vishwakarma, who's the engineer of the demigods. How many engineers do we have here? Oh. So, Vishwakarma, he's the engineer of the demigods. And like me, he had a very, 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 very beautiful daughter. And her name was Sangya. Now if you think about it for a minute, you can understand. Sangya, like Gya, like Gyan, knowledge. And we know kirtan, and we call it Sankirtan when we're all together. So Sangya, complete knowledge, awareness. And Vishwakarma was a great devotee of the sun god, Vivaswan. And he thought, what better wife for the sun than Sangya? Awareness. Because as soon as the sun goes down, we're not aware of anything. And as soon as the sun comes up, we become aware of everything. So what better wife for the sun than Sangya? So with great pomp and ceremony, he married his daughter with Vivaswan. And when Vivaswan approached her, the way a husband approaches a wife, then she shut her eyes. He became very angry. Are, why you shut your eyes? Because you shut your eyes like this? He cursed her. You will get a son who will make everyone shut their eyes, and everyone will be afraid of your son. Now she wasn't a modern Western woman who started a big fight with her husband. She was a very smart Indian lady. She began to massage on his legs. Oh Swami, what can I do? I couldn't help it. You're so bright. I couldn't help myself. No harsh words, but automatically husband is feeling bad inside his heart. Without a harsh word, husband is feeling bad. Then he said, oh, I can't take back the curse. Now I've pronounced it. But I give you blessing. She was a smart lady. She got blessing, Ashirvad. That you will also get a daughter. From this union, you will get a daughter who will free everyone from the fear of your son. So she gave birth to Yam and Yami. Yam, Yamaraj, who makes everyone shut their eyes. And everyone's very much afraid of Yamaraj. And Yami, Yamuna, we take our bath in Yamuna, we get free from all our sins, we have no more fear of Yamaraj. So, Jamuna is the daughter of the sun god. So we call her Surya Putri, or Bhanu Nandini. Just like you know our Bhanu Maharaj. Bhanu means sun. He got stuck here during pandemic for 7 months or 8 months or something. So Bhanu means sun. Bhanu Nandini, Bhanu Putri, Surya Nandini, Tarni Tanuja. So many beautiful names. But a Rupa Goswami in his Jamunastakam, he's given a very beautiful name. And I'll just quote one verse, my favorite verse. He calls her Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani. Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani. So Sarva, we all know, means all. Sarva Arabinda. Arabinda means lotus. Sarvadara Binda Bandhu. Who's the friend of all the lotus flowers? I'll give you a hint. When moon will come, all the lotuses close their face. They don't want to see the moon. But as soon as sun will rise, every lotus will open with a big smile to see the sun. So the friend of all the lotus flowers is the sun. Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandini, the daughter of the friend of all the lotus flowers. So this is my favorite line in this Jamunastakam of Srila Rupa Goswami. Ramyatira Ramamana Gokadamba Bhushita Divya Gandha Bhakaramba Pusparaja Bhushitam Nanda Suno Bhakta Sangam Sangam Abhinandani Mam Punattu Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani. Everyone. Mam Punattu Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani. Huh? So Ramya means lovely. Huh? Ramya Tira. We know Tira because we sing every morning. Jamuna Tira. Tira means bank. Not the ones that are ripping us off, but the banks of the river. Huh? Ramya Tira. Her banks are very lovely. Ramya Tira. Rambamana. Go Kadamba. So we all heard about this Kadamba tree and Kadamba flower. Huh? But actually that Kadamba flower, if you see it, it's not one flower. Just like right now in New Govardhan, they have a Bengali Kadam. Or Vrindavan Kadam is different. But they're both Kadams because it's not one flower, it's a whole ball of flowers. And Kadamba in Sanskrit means group, samu. So both of them are called Kadamba because they have a whole ball of little flowers. But here we're not talking about flowers or tree, it says Go Kadamba. Which group we're talking about? Go Kadamba. I know. So what group are we talking about? Go means cows. Go Kadamba Bhushita. All those cows are doing Rambamana. Do you know Rambamana? Rambamana means all those cows are going Bhushita. Bhushita comes from the, just like you know the word abhushan, jewelry, ornaments. Just like all the ladies, they too much like ornaments, no? So Jamuna, she's also a lady, she likes ornaments, but all her ornaments are black and yellow and red and white cows wandering along her banks like a necklace going This is the ornaments of Jamuna. Divya Gandha Bhakadamba Pusparaja Rushita. Now Kadamba is coming in. Now we're talking about the flower and the tree. It says Divya, just like in English we say divine. Divya Gandha. Gandha means fragrance. Divya Gandha Bhakadamba Pusparaja Rushita. And that divine fragrance is flowing in all directions. Krishna just loves Kadamba garlands. They're just the color of Srimati Radhika and they have a divine fragrance. In fact, the Kadamba tree represents Srimati Radharani. And Tamal tree, like in the courtyard of Krishna Malaram Mandir, they're black and crooked. So that Tamal tree represents Krishna. If you see a Tamal tree and a Kadamba tree growing together, that's like getting Sakshat Darshan of Radha and Krishna. They have wonderful fragrance that's flowing in all directions. Diviganda Bhakadamba Pusparaja. Nanda Suno Bhakta Sangam Sangam Abhinandani. He doesn't say Krishna. He says Nanda Suno, that son of Nanda Maharaj. Because there may be so many Krishnas. Just like on our trip here in Australia, we ran into so many people named Krishna. So he wants to make sure that you understand who he's talking about. He says Nanda Suno, that son of Nanda Maharaj. Just like when you check into the guest house in India, the first question, what's your father's name? First question, your name, the second question, what's your father's name? Because there will be so many Radhe Shyam Agarwals, but we want the one who's the son of Shyam Chand Agarwal. So he says Nanda Suno, that son of Nanda Maharaj, Bhakta Sangha. Those devotees of that son of Nanda Maharaj, Sangam, all of them. Because early in the morning, some came from this side, some came from over here, some came from that side, some came from this side. They've all come in the morning to take their bath. Sangam Abhinandani. She's doing their Abhinandan. She's welcoming all the devotees in the morning. Mam Punatu Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandani. May those gently flowing waves of that daughter of the friend of all the lotus flowers bless and protect you. Jamuna Maharani ki jai. So here at this place we see the Jamuna flowing very sweetly by. So it's getting a little late, so we'll. What can I tell in Hindi? All right. I'm trying to think of a short one. What's the short one? All right, ek bar on the side of Barsana ke side में एक गांव है चिकसोली. ये संकरी कोर के पश्चात जो गांव आते हैं इसका नाम है चिकसोली. चित्रसखी का गांव है. और चिकसाली बहुत प्रसिद्ध है. दूध, दही, माखन, पनीर, ये सब दूध का पदार्थ. So one day, एक दिन कृष्ण बालराम और सब ग्वाल बाल वो गार गार जा रहा था और देख रहा था और ढूंढ रहा था कौन सा गार है जहाँ कोई गोपी नहीं है. So एक खिड़की को देखा और कोई गोपी नहीं थी. So ये सब ग्वाल बाल दरवाजे से अंदर आ गए. कोई अब भी हम तो छोटी छोटी गांव में गए जहाँ कोई ताला नहीं लगाते. सब जगह हम जाते आपके ऑस्ट्रेलिया में अंदर नहीं जा सकते. फिर you have to call उसके आपका मित्र को फोन लगाना पड़ेगा. फिर एक बटन दबेगा, ये ड्राइववे का दरवाज़ा खुल जाएगा. फिर अंदर आएगी, आपका मित्र का नंबर का बटन डाल देगा. फिर एक आवाज़ आएगा, फिर दरवाज़ा ओपन जाएगा. फिर फाइंड आउट इनका दरवाज़ा और नाक करते. और एक छोटा सा शीशा है, वो देखते ये खाला हो जाते हैं. देख वो कौन आया. फिर आप सुन सकते ये सब थाला खुल जाते. हम इतना चिंता में रहते हैं, लेकिन गांव में कोई चिंता नहीं. सो कोई डाला नहीं था. तो सब ग्वाल बाल अंदर आया, ये दूध पीने लगे, ये दही पीने लगे और लाला ये सब माखन खाने लगे. सो ये गोपी घर पर आया और खिड़की से एक आवाज सुनी. सो अंदर देख रही थी और देख रही थी क्या हो रहा था. सो आपने देखा वृंदावन और भारत में एक दरवाजा नहीं है, दो दरवाजे हैं हमेशा. सो बाहर एक what do you say शंखला है और अंदर है कुंडी है. सो ये गोपी गए और बाहर का कुंडी लगाया. इसका अर्थ है कि जो अंदर है अब बाहर नहीं जा सकते हैं. और ठाकुर जी वो भी सुने ये आवाज, वो भी जानते हैं इसका क्या अर्थ है. सो ठाकुर जी चारों ओर देखा, खिड़की से चलो. सो सब ग्वाल बाल पिंग 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 खिड़की से कूदा. सब एक ठाकुर जी की एक शाखा है मधुमंगल. सो सबसे पहले मधुमंगल लंग रहे हैं. वो इतना जल्दी दौड़ नहीं सकते थे, इतनी आसानी से ऊपर नहीं चढ़ सकते थे. और मधुमंगल की दूसरी बात है कि वो ठाकुर जी का सखा है, लेकिन वो गोप नहीं है. वो क्या है? ब्राह्मण. हमारे ब्रज के ब्राह्मण बहुत पतली नहीं होते. अगर ब्राह्मण भोजन लगाना है तो सबसे पहले 10 देशी की लड्डू ये पत्तल पर होना चाहिए और नहीं बैठेगा। हाँ, मैं तो असली विश्वासी नहीं, हम तो 2 खा सकते बस। अगर 2 नहीं है, 10 नहीं है, नहीं बैठेगा। So, किसी प्रकार माधव मंगल ये खिड़की के पास आया और उसके अंदर चले गए, फिर फंस गए। So ये गोपी आया, सब गोपी उनके साथ, दरवाजा खोली, अंदर आया, हाँ पकड़ लिया, और कोई नहीं है, जैसे कि मोटी मित्र है, फंसे ये खिड़की में। So खिड़की से निकाल दिया। उसका हाथ फूल माला से बांध किया पीछे, और एक रस्सी लगाया इसका सीखा में, और वृक्ष के शाखा के ऊपर डाला। और अभी हमारे पास एक बांदी है। सो एक बांदी है, हॉस्टेज, हमेशा कोई what do you say, demand? I can't think of the word. Anyway, कोई डिमांड है। So ये सब गोपियाँ बोला, अभी आपका मित्र कृष्ण को बुलाओ, और ये रस्सी से खींच लिया। कन्हैया, कान्हा, कृष्णा। श्री कृष्ण वो भी माधव मंगल का सुन लिए, वो चला रहा था। सो कृष्ण आया और बहुत गुस्सा हो गया, अरे तूने क्या कर दिया? ये हमारा सखा है, लेकिन ये गोप नहीं, ये ब्राह्मण है। तूने ब्राह्मण अपराध कर दिया। क्या किया? ब्राह्मण अपराध। अभी your wealth and your health and your beauty will all be finished. और ये छोटी छोटी लड़की किसके बारे में चिंता करती है? स्वस्थ, धन, सुंदरता। तो ये सब गोपी डर गए, अरे श्याम सुंदर हमें क्या करें? तो सामने सोचो कि मधुबंधु के लिए एक बहुत सुंदर आसन बनाओ, और अब सब अपने अपने घर पर जाओ, जितने भी लड्डू है आपके घर पर, ये लड्डू ले आओ, ये मधुबंधु को खिलाओ, जो अपराध है वो भूल जाएगा और आपको देगा आशीर्वाद। ये अपराध भूल जाएगा और आपको देगा आशीर्वाद। सो एक बहुत सुंदर आसन बनाया, मधुबंधु को बिता दिया, और अपने घर पर गए तो बहुत से लड्डू लाया, और मधुबंधु खाने लगे, और बहुत प्रसन्न हो गया। और सब गोपियों को बहुत सुंदर आशीर्वाद दिए, जो कुछ उसका मनोकामना, मनोकामना मतलब जो सबसे प्रिय इच्छा है हृदय में। और सब गोपियों के हृदय में क्या इच्छा है कि किसी प्रकार नंदन नंदन हमसे प्रसन्न हो जाए, और ये कृष्ण भावना है। संक्षेप रूप में ये कृष्ण भावना है। जो कुछ हम करते, हम माला करते हैं, कृष्ण प्रसाद खाते हैं, 4 नियम का पालन करते, किस लिए? जिससे ठाकुर जी हमसे प्रसन्न हो जाए। हम जाते मंगल आरती, गौर पूर्णिमा और जन्माष्टमी पे हम जाते, श्रीमद् भागवतम सुनते, हम सब भक्तों के संग करते, ये संडे कार्यक्रम में आते, किस लिए? जिससे ठाकुर जी हमसे प्रसन्न हो जाए। ये कृष्ण भावना है, सरल। हम ये सब कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बनाते हैं, लेकिन बहुत सरल है। किसी काम से पहले, खाने से पहले आप सोचो, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ जिससे नंदन नंदन हमसे प्रसन्न हो जाए और मेरा इंद्रिय तृप्त हो जाए, तो फिर आपका हमेशा कृष्ण भावना भावित रहेंगे। बहुत सरल है। तो अभी मधुबंधु का Pe Barahe Daduse Obokushe Jokuch Bardhana Mangdachate Havimango. Śrīmad Mangal Ki Jai. So we have with us a copy, because I've written 2 books, Braj Leela Part 1 and Part 2. Unfortunately, so far we've completely run out. This is just sample to show of Part 2, but we still have many of Part 1. And it's not formal writing, but the way I talk, that's the way the book is. And Part 2 is available on Amazon.
What do we deliver in 2 days?
Part 2 can be delivered in 2 days on your amazon.com.au. So we have these 2 books available for your Krishna conscious pleasure. So after the program you can approach me, and we're here to sign it. We also have one small mission that we're on, because recently that little place in Taliganj where Prabhupada's birthplace underneath the acquire that. It was all slum and just little hutments are there. And you know, land dealing in India is big hassle. Somehow he got everybody, not only had to buy from the owner, he has to pay to people who are renting to get them out and then register so many things. We got that little piece. Once he got that piece, one of Prabhupada's, one of my godbrothers, who was actually Prabhupada's nephew, Sankarsha, he came and showed this devotee, Radharaman, who acquired this place, this letter that he had in Bengali. The Bhakti Churu Maharaj wrote it in, Prabhupada instructed Bhakti Churu write it in Bengali, and then Prabhupada personally signed it. He said, get that land around that jackfruit tree and make a suitable memorial for me and treat this as urgent. But this letter was in Bengali with Sankarsha and nobody knew about it. So Brother Raman, he's trying to acquire more land because we have 3,000 square feet. He's got an opportunity to get 5,000 more. But in the video, if you see the video, you can see big high-rise buildings are coming up all around, because Taliganj is the very posh area. All the movie stars live there. So all the builders are also after that land. So if we don't act fast, then this land will be lost. And we need, sufficient land to build a memorial for Prabhupada, for whom we owe everything for Prabhupada. So you can contact us afterwards. We can send you the video and you can find out how to send your donation if you want to help with this project. Hare Krishna. You want to say something? Or that's so good? All right, so we have a nice kirtan. You're all tired of sitting, so this is dancing music anyway. So you all stand up. Jai Jai Shri Vrindavanada. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavanada. Jai Jai Shyama, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavanada. Jai Jai Shyama, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavanada. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavanada. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Shri Vrindavanada. Pavana Sri Vrindavana Dham. Pavana Radhe Tero Nam, Pavana Sri Vrindavana Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Dham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Dham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham. Govinda Govinda gaoge, Prema Padarata gaoge. Padarata gaoge. Govinda Govinda gaoge, Prema Padarata gaoge. Arata, Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Dham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham, Jai Jai Radhe. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Dham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham. Radhe Shyam Bisaroge, Jiti Baji Haroge. Radhe Shyam Roge, Jiti Baji Haroge. Radhe Shyam Bisaroge, Jiti Baji Haroge. Radhe Shyam Bisaroge, Jiti Baji Har. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham. Bolo Santan Hare Hare, Mukha pe Murali Adadari. Bolo Santan Hare Hare, Mukha pe Murali Adadari. Bolo Santan Hare Hare, Mukha pe Murali Adadari. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Dham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Dham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavana Dham. Manasi Ganga, Sri Hari Dev, Giribharadari ki Prikrama Dev. When we do Giriraj Prikrama, first we take bath in Manasi Ganga, then we take darshan of Hari Dev, then Giribharadari ki Prikrama Dev. Then we go on Govardhan Prikrama. Manasi Ganga, Sri Hari Dev, Giribharadari ki Prikrama Dev. Manasi Ganga, Sri Hari Dev, Giribharadari ki Prikrama Dev. Manasi Ganga, Sri Hari Dev, Giribharadari ki Prikrama Dev. Giribharadari Vikrama, Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Sham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Sham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. कुंड कुंड में क्षण में चले अपना जीवन सफल करे कुंड कुंड में क्षण में चले अपना जीवन सफल करे कुंड कुंड में क्षण में चले अपना जीवन सफल करे कुंड कुंड में क्षण में चले अपना जीवन सफल कर जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vivo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai Jai Radhe, Jai Jai Shyam, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Dham, Jai Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham. Bolo Sri Brajbasi Vrindavan Dham ki. Revealer of the Holy Dham, Śrīmad Prabhupada ki. Jai Jai Sri Radhe. Hare Krishna. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Dina Bandhu Prabhu.